Welcome to today's meditation. I'm Jan Jorgensen at Sound and Light Healing Arts. I always think of that, that wonderful comedian Robin Williams who'd say, "Hello, Vietnam." Because every Wednesday morning, it's like Groundhog Day, I say the same things. But today, something a little different on the menu. We're not going to talk about how to hold your light and beam and be the messenger you are, which is, the most important core message of why I'm here. But today we're diverging and we're going to do something really fun and interesting. People often say, well, really, where did I originate from? Okay, so if you think that you're a little speck of source here, and that you are a divine being, it means you're a speck of what? I think of source as a huge chandelier of undulating, fractalating rainbow lights of infinite creation and magnificent, mysterious potential. Where do you fit in? Where did you come from? If that's a chandelier and you're the little prism here, okay? So you're connected to something. You are connected to something so big and so beautiful and so, hold on, speaker. Okay, good. Just check in there. And I chose a card for today. And the card is, of course, crown chakra, taking in that light. That's what we do in the Be That Light meditations. The card is ending separation from source. How do we end separation from source? Well, to walk backwards and to go where you're from, where the first twinkle in source's eyes, this incarnation is just the end result of a huge storyline. Your storyline, if you're listening to this, you have an expanded consciousness and you're here to shift things for Earth and have an immense toolkit. So you have a lot of journeys in your journal, okay? A lot. You are a divine being of source of quite expansion with a great amount of ability to remember what your gifts are. And so to do that, we walk backwards and we remember what we forgot. Okay, though this is as easy. Remember, was Sesame Street or was it Mr. Rogers? Oh, Sesame Street. You walk backwards through your mind. We're going to walk backwards through our innate intracellular memory and knowing and pathway through the grid of all that is. Hold on, I have a good. I often talk about this grid, and here's a good example. The Earth herself is within a grid like this. See this? What are these lines? These lines are part of a big, massive grid that goes from Earth to the galactic, to the universal core and back. There is energy circulating through these 0 points all the time. And you're residing here in the Earth, in this human body, and you have 0 points. You have a 0 point at the back of your neck. That's your spiritual 0 point. You have a spiritual point in the middle of your head near your pineal. That's your mental 0 point. And you have one about 2 inches south of your umbilicus, your belly button. That's your physical still point. And these are your travel tools, your GPS. You line up your 0 points with the 0 points on the grid that go through this room, that go through your town, that go through. They are real. It is a subtle, lazy light grid with 0 points. Now, what is the 0 point? It is the point of transfer. It is the point of travel. It is the point of choice. It is the point of infinite potential. When you go into the 0 point, you can travel on this grid, and you can travel anywhere. And today, we're going to take you home, and you're going to travel to where your bigger consciousness is anchored, of where you first co-created with the Creator to become some sort of being way before this incarnation. This is just the awake part here, but there's a huge awake part there. We're going to say, hello, I'm here to remember. I'm here to retrieve. I want to know, am I an angel? If I'm an angel, there's certain gifts I have. And why keep trying to be something else? And why not really accept that I'm this diaphanous, soft washing machine that absorbs everybody's stuff all the time? Or maybe it's good to know that you're a galactic master and you can think a thought and it's so sharp, but that warm and fuzzy, cuddly stuff, fuzzy stuff doesn't come natural for you, like for other people. Quit beating yourself up. Who you are in this lifetime is directly related to the energetic profile that your bigger consciousness and form holds, and it came down here in this physical body and expresses itself. Know yourself. And today, we're going to go back to where you were born and really know the essence of your beingness, and this will help you move ahead in steps to choose people and places and things, and especially projects that are important for the retuning of the earth, for the transition from old dense fear-based into the fifth dimension. So, ending separation from source. Oh, I couldn't have picked a better card. My very body is a conduit for the connection to all that is. My energy lines weave together all that is, and I am fully connected to Source at all times. I feel held, loved, and sustained infinitely by Source, and bring this heaven to earth in all that I am and all that I do. So here's the affirmation, and I see everyone's muted, so you can say this in your mind after me. Heaven and earth, weave through my beingness, and all is one in harmony, This is exactly it, ending separation from source, coming to a planet near you, Earth. Earth is now embarking on the steps and the movement in the vibrational field of becoming one. Now, how does that happen? For humans saying, well, what we're doing here isn't working. This is ouchy, it's not cozy. And when good people stand up and start moving into coalesced, coherent, communicative, collaborative situations. So right now, after a very unusual, divisive election process in the United States, and we are the leaders in many ways, financially, economically, and we have a great dominance and presence in the world. We are now seeing that the old systems don't work. It's almost embarrassing to say, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. No, we're much more a myriad of gifts and interests and coalitions, and we are moving into beyond party groups of empowered, impassioned citizens taking on areas in devoted, dedicated, committed groups of people to handle and to take care of agriculture, city design and function, food management. This is a new time, and by the dissonance underneath it is pushing us up into a new reality. And the reality that you will experience and your piece, what you'll put in is the puzzle piece. All those questions of where do I fit in, what I'm going to do, you'll be in a tribe, a group, who's all articulating exactly what you're interested in and what you've been up to and wanted to devote yourself to, but you kept getting confused and waylaid by other people's designs, ideas, or even your own confusion. So I know exactly what my role is and what I'm up to, but how that emerges and surfaces and forms is up to the co-creation with other like-minded people, and it is happening. It is very exciting. It is good. So before we get into the actual meditation to find out where you're from, I wanted to give some framework again of the movement, the inner movement that must take place for us to form these groups of intelligent, committed citizens, which will be the new energy forms that form the cabinets, the assemblies, the authoritative source that will eventually move into positions where those who've stood up and have led and done right, guess what, will hold the mantle of authority, and the people's will be done. Fear, dastardly, authoritative, dominant, patriarchal, all of it, toxicity, gone. Okay. So think about, we're moving forward in future. What does it look like? This is Caroline Cory's The Divine Plan. While spiritual gatherings must still be appropriate and beneficial at times, connection to the Creator and actual prayer through the personal, that's why I'm bringing this up today. This is your work to define who you are, what is your puzzle piece, and find your tribe. Personal and direct invocation of divine source and the alignment of your individual physical body with source without any human or spirit intermediaries. My daughter used to say when she was 2, "You're not the boss of me." We will no longer look to outside of ourselves, so-called patronizing, condescending, benevolent forces. Let me take care. No, we take care of ourselves, aligned, full of sources, information. So this higher consciousness, you will be merging with our spirit self and our spirit family in a direct, unobstructed manner. The way to express this prayer, as well as the location and frequency of this prayer, is subjective to your individual lifestyle and unique taste. So you will be guided by your spirit family, some of which are born into physical bodies here. That's your tribe. And some of them who are here and are non-locale beings, not non-located. In other words, they're in their etheric conscious form. Angels, all the different types of beings. Those are your helpers to make this transition as a human here on the ground team for the divine plan. So by today, by going back and learning your lineage, your spirit family will be awakened, enlivened, and speaking to you and present with you and for you as never before. And you will be sensing to greater degrees their presence, their love, their support, and information. I don't know how so many people say, "Jan, I don't know what's the next step." Well, your spirit family does. Why? Because they see everything and they have no axe to grind. They have no skin in the game. They can actually say what is the highest, best thing. So that will assist you moving forward. So before we really drop in a little bit more, this is the chart I'm going to be using today as we assess who your peeps are, your homies, that's your spirit family hovering here, waiting to talk to you. Hello, Jan. Yes, we're right here. There is a law. Spiritual beings cannot interact with the human unless the human does what? Uses their free will and asks. That's why we say we ask and intend. And these spirit beings hover and are available to us to come through and speak to us through an energetic 0 point into our 0 points. I know I'm touching upon a lot of things here, but if you've been working with me for a while, it's a remembrance of the different elements and processes that I talk about. Today, I'm bringing a lot together. We're bringing clarity and focus and remembrance to your lifetime, this lifetime, which is extremely significant because you are a volunteer, you are a visitor here, and you are a messenger, and Spirit Family wants to get on with the party and be with you as if you're talking to a friend. They are your friends. They're your beloveds. They're your tribe. Okay. So, the types of beings that are here right now helping answered a call that went out to the universe, I think 200,000 years ago, of Earth will, in a certain span of time, be ready to extinguish herself, blow herself up, nuclear war, animosity, poor leadership. Will you go to Earth? And you said yes. So you could be in this role, in this lifetime, a Melchizedek and universal teacher. You could be what we call a power controller and life architect. I'll talk a little bit more about them because we're going to do a meditation. And you're going to try on the silhouette, the template, the infrastructure, the electromagnetic, geometric infrastructure of each of these type of beings to give you conclusive evidence of what type of being you are or what your role is here this time around. I mean, this stuff is so complex that this is Caroline Cory bringing it down to, 101, divine beingness. Gravity controllers and planetary aids, galactic masters and communicators, star seeds, angelic or celestial beings. And then the largest number of helpers here are human and other material beings, sometimes called earth beings. Okay. Let's take a deep breath through our nose and out through our mouth. We ask and intend to set a sacred space. We now move into the hold on of balance. Which is a octahedron geometric structure, just like I'm holding here. And imagine that your body is floating right in the middle, freely, comfortably, and safely. We put ourselves in this structure to set a boundary. We remove interfering energies, thoughts, courting of other people, our own agendas, and we actually allow our 0 point within our mental apparatus, in our brain, in the center, to come to this still point, 0 energy, completely peaceful, letting go. We ask and intend that the mental 0 point in our brain come to absolute stillness And notice that you haven't fallen asleep. You're still here, and in fact, your consciousness is waking up. Let yourself feel your body without the mental overlay and chatter. Feel the freedom, the joy, the sense of levity. Here you are, just being yourself without all the mental judgment and words and pressure. Just put that mental part of yourself to sleep. And take a nice deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth, and begin to sense and feel the glorious eminence, emission of light from your heart. And your heart is reaching, your heart is seeking, it is saying, I ask and intend to know what type of being I am. This will be a 2-part meditation. We will try on the different types of being, and then we will actually travel out and find home. Take another deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth. And in this space of complete calm and openness, we allow ourselves to imagine that the perfect geometric structure of a material being, we call it the earth being, that is here to help humans resonate back into a heavenly state. We ask and intend to bring this beautiful earth being, energy, form, and to let it move into our own form. And we are trying it on almost like a divine dressing room. Take a moment and merge with the material being form now. And notice how you feel. Take a breath and trust your sensations. Beautiful. So we ask and intend that we remember this feeling later when we come out and take some notes. We remove that energy, we thank it for this lesson, and it goes through the travel grid and leaves us, this sample being who volunteered to help us. Thank you. And now we ask that the angelic realm, essence and form, because they have, it's just like different DNA patterns and structures. We ask that an angelic being come through the travel grid from the 0 points and merges with our aligned 0 points now. Allow yourself to feel as you are merging with the angelic template now. And take a breath and notice just how it feels without judgment. And now we allow that essence, farewell, goodbye, and thank you for this opportunity. And it moves out from our system through the travel grid. And for a moment, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes and just come back into your own earth incarnation and form here. Feel your sit bones, feel solid. You might feel a little lightheaded because these beings are of a very high vibration and you're taking it into your biofield. Okay, breath through the nose and out through the mouth. The next beings, group of beings, they're called star seeds, and they carry the encodements and the frequency patterns for the new DNA for humans moving forward. So you may be a carrier, and we are going to see how it feels to merge with the star seed template. So we ask and intend that a star seed, perfect form, come towards our body and comes through the 0 points very organically and comfortably. And take a breath and allow the star seed energy form to come into your body now. Feel and sense. Is it a fit? Just allow it. And notice the sensations. Beautiful. Okay, so we have this energy very gently be pulled forward and out of our body, and it travels away on a 0 point in the grid, and we thank this energy for this experience. So again, take a breath and wiggle a little bit. Come back to your own Earth here configuration. And the next category is galactic masters and communicators. This takes the form of beings who are able to move sound, light, and color powerfully and precisely, to lead groups or educate or provide services of sound, light, and color of all varieties, who work with others, and this is from the galactic realms, often from the Sirius B constellation. Take a nice deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth. And we ask that this type of being, this configuration, these gifts, this toolkit, this essence, is now coming towards our body. And you're allowing, if you choose, to merge with a galactic master and communicator formation. And notice how it feels. Does it feel calm? Is there a sameness? Take a breath. And now we allow this energy to very gently be pulled out from your biosphere and move out on the travel grid through the 0 points, and you are left just with your energetic profile. So take a nice deep breath, and we're going to just rest for just a short moment, because this is, I don't want to say taxing, but it is a very powerful exercise, and we have more to go. And as we go up the scale, the forms a much bigger vibrational field. So we're just going to take a little pause here. So I spoke about the different groups that will be forming moving forward for leadership. And there will be offices of taxes, distribution and barter, and monetary systems. the Ministry of New Science, the Ministry of Arts and Culture, the Ministry of Cosmic Communication. Let's face it, we're learning where I'm from. We're coming out of non-communicado. If we're ET and we phoned home, well, you know home is there. There's no going back. Cat's out of the bag. We're going to be communicating with all other systems and consciousnesses through this grid freely. There'll be an Office of Earth Government Ambassadors, the Ministry of the Environment and Natural Resources, the Ministry of Higher Education, the Ministry of World Transportation. Now, as I'm saying these things, I'm saying it, one, to inspire you to keep moving forward to what you love to do. Polish your puzzle piece. And to also make this real, because there's a certain part in your physiology that lives in the past and the future, right? Quantum field. See, when I say these words, you say, yeah, of course. And once you've said in your unconscious and conscious mind, yeah, of course, that increases incredibly the opportunity for these manifestations to occur more powerfully. All right, so you ready for the next one? This next one is the gravity controllers and planetary aids. These beings, in general, might have more gravitas to their body, and even if they don't have physical bulk and weight to their body, their energetic lines, or think of, there's thin little telephone cables that are strung electrical cables between light poles, and there's really thick ones. These gravity controllers, the body has very, very, very thick areas, allow huge amounts of geophysical earth energy to pass through their body. You think of those jumping tents, how they have to have grounding stakes. Planetary controllers' bodies are the grounding stakes to keep the evolutionary accelerated vibrational processes in check and balanced, to keep all fields harmonized, the galactic energies coming in, and the humans' energy fields popping everywhere, the solar flares, the mass consciousness shifts. They are the mediators and regulators, so Earth doesn't burn herself up to a crisp, or her people, but everything stays in a milieu that is positive and calculated and synchronized to move towards higher vibrational parallel realities settling in permanently. I know two planetary aid beings, and they're very powerful. One just passed over because it's very exhausting for your body. And I have a friend, a male friend, every time he has a major massage or clearing, there is an major earthquake after, because his very body alignment is aligned with the earth axis. So this is true. Gravity controllers and planetary aids. So are you ready? Take a breath through your nose and out through your mouth. We ask and intend that the form of these beings come towards our body now, and that one representative essence, this form, you're going to try it on, just as you're trying on clothes. You're going to bring it in, and you're going to allow its essence to settle in to your energy field to see how it feels, if it's an exact match, what the experience is sensorially to you without giving it words. Just feel. Beautiful. Okay, we allow this energy to move out, to separate out of our bodies, go on this travel grid. We bid it adieu and thank you. All right, just 3 more. Power controllers and life architects. These are beings that help the forms of life, how humans live on earth, or the living forms on earth unfold and move and interact, and the timeline for humans. It's very complex, but let's just say your inner self knows if you are a power controller and life architect. All right, so we allow the form and essence, power controller and life architects to come towards us, and we breathe it in, and we try it on now. And just notice any sensory changes, buzzing, resistance, anything. Perfect. Okay, now we ask this energy to remove itself, just like gelatinous, and off it goes in its bubble of energy and form in through the travel grid and back out. We thank for that experience. Some of these make me slightly nauseated because they're immense. The next one is universal teachers, communicators, and Melchizedeks. These are usually very high thinkers of a spiritual and scientific, metaphysical, quantum theories, mathematical off the scale. Tesla was probably a Melchizedek, and they come even from a higher place than the archangels. Very, very, very high, amazing beings. We ask and intend. We invite in the Melchizedek and universal messengers and teachers energy to come into our field and blend with us now. Try it on. Notice if there's any colors, movement. Amazing. Enjoy the experience. And make a note to remember how this feels. Okay, so we let this energy now form out of you and go into the next 0 point. Thank you. And let it go. And go ahead and take a breath and wiggle, because now we're going to go. These are not rated in importance because we need all parts. And even though she has it in somewhat of a hierarchical, each is important. And each being, you're here in your free will to actually be this beingness that you signed up for. So in other words, it's not automatic. And that's why we do the Be the Light meditation, because I consider myself a cheerleader to help those that are on this chart who are still distracted, disillusioned, dissociated, and not fulfilling what they promised to do. Okay, so the last one is there are 7 particles. And this is so esoteric. We call it Divine Father, Divine Mother, Divine Son. And these are energies that can morph time and space, work powerfully with the space-holding magnetic fields of the feminine and the masculine. For instance, Jesus Christ was a divine son. He could morph time and space, I believe, but some divine sons and masters can only morph space. In other words, they could take something by going into high frequency fields. They could morph anything physical, turn this into a rose, do something else. Gurus can do that. Go into very, very high field, and you can dominate space and things. But to be able to shift time is a much bigger thing. It's a timing. That is really where you have to have earned it through many, many lifetimes of mastery, good for all and harm to none. Remember the spiritual path we talk about as 70 steps. By the time you get to omnipotent level, which is morphing time and space, the Jesus level, you've done a lot of inner work and you're not going to harm anything. That's the universal law. So you might be a divine mother or father, divine son, divine master here on earth now as an expression of these 7 major fields of these beings. I don't know exactly how many humans are incarnating, but I have met a few of these beings holding these roles. Impeccably devoted beings with outstanding focused consciousness skills, which we all can do. They're here to teach us. Okay, so we ask and intend that the energy of the Divine Master, Mother, Father, whatever configuration, are you a divine son? Breathe this energy in and try it on. Bring it in through your skin, into all of your organs and all of your beingness. And just feel, is it a fit? Is it familiar? Is there a oneness? Take a nice deep breath. This is a huge, 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 huge energy. Huge. Okay. We let this energy move out now. Fitting room is over session, and you're back to your own field. So take a moment here after these trying on sessions. Take a mental note. Was there any or two? I'm actually a hybrid. I'm a few things. As a cheerleader, I have to know the different realms and vibrational frequency forms. So remember, are you any of these specific beings? How did it feel? And in a little bit, I'll turn the recording off and we'll talk about it, and you can take notes. Now, while we're in this state, we have discerned and hopefully come to some clarity of the type of being that we are. We ask and intend that your spirit family, beings just like you, from the same flock, the same fold, the same energy forms, be present here with you now. Imagine that they are putting their hands gently on your shoulders and your back, your crown chakra, and maybe one on your upper chest. Feel the electromagnetic circuitry being connected, the switchboards being all plugged in. And you are now fully connected to your family, not in physical form, who can speak to you. And they're giving me a picture that you are a piano keyboard, which of course resonates frequencies, and they will actually, like a player piano, begin to play the notes, the frequencies, with encoded messages, words, and music, even if you don't hear actual words. They are now playing harmonic new music through your body in such a way that all of their love and all of their information, and believe me, this might not be 8 beings, this could be 20,000 beings. And you are simply the head bird here at the head of the V, the head of the flock, on the ground team, representing all they know and are, and all that their wishes for Earth to reconfigure it, reconfabulate through all this dissonance into coherency once again. Take a breath and feel the magnificent trust they have in you. And feel the magnificent joy and elation that you are now fully connected to. All the juice, all of this love, all this information. And now you and your entire family, your spirit family knows where they're from, but you are all looking upward. They're all looking upward. And they are one huge beam of time travel that are allowing you, your heart that has been seeking, where am I from? Who am I? This huge beam of light is now going into the 0 point, the travel, and the time and space, and you are entering the realm out there of your true home. You are there. Your homies, your spirit family, are right there with you. You've traveled on the bullet train of light and intention, and you are residing in your heavenly home now. Absorb it and feel it, own it and be it. And now look around. There might be clues. There might be colors. There might be activities. There might be scenes of beings doing things. And there might even be labels or words. This is a Pleiadian administrative building. This is serious technology. Who knows? Your inner eyes are seeing and drinking it up because you asked to know, where am I from? It's almost as if you're Little Red Riding Hood and you've taken your basket and you want to collect eggs. And each egg is a memory of a lifetime there with your loving beings, of the travels you took, the movies you made, everything. You're filling your basket, and you're going to be able to bring that basket back to earth. You will never forget. Once you know, you can't unknow that you are a beloved divine being with a heavenly home. So breathe it in and don the clothing, the energy, the crown, the joy, the juice, all that is yours, all that is heavenly yours. Let your stomach completely relax into this deep remembrance and embracement of absolute home. And take a breath. And as you do, all of your spirit family, your escorts, you all turn around, you look back towards Earth, and you see it as this fragile, beautiful, ailing, upset planet. She's irping. She's had the wrong diet for a long time. She's geophysically spasming, and her people are crying and dying and confused and living in big mansions, oblivious to pain. So you've got all your eggs. You know who you are. And the eggs are your gifts, your remembrance. Because once you know who you are and where you are from and what you're made of, that's all you need. You have all you need for this time on earth. Everything is available to you. These eggs are your resources, your sustenance, your sustainability. And whenever you need anything, when you get back to earth, these golden eggs, you just choose one. Just like I choose a card, you choose an egg, and it will give you what you need for that day. So you've got your beautiful basket of these golden eggs, all these gifts, a remembrance of the gifts you already have available, but we have to use little, brain memo pictures. And your spirit beings are saying, well, we're going to fly you back. Guess what? We're not going anywhere. We're staying around you. So you're all flying back as one. You're a family, and you're never separating again. You're never alone again. They say, we are here for you all the time. While you're sleeping, while you're dancing, while you're speaking. We are here to remind you of the courageous, loving, awesome being that you are. So here you are, arriving with them back into your physical body. Begin to move your fingers, move your toes, and feel the allness of it, the awesomeness of it, the over the top what? Yes, it is this easy, and it is time. It's time for your spark plug to be so bright with who you are, what you came here to do, with this whole family supporting you, because there's more to come. These events on earth that are unfolding, where you show who you are and you introduce your homies, these are coming, and they're coming much quicker now. It's unfolding. Not everybody knows all the bigger picture, but you know a lot now. And you know who you are. And that's the most important thing. All right. So put a big, beautiful, golden, resilient egg around your body. And we are now ready to stop the recording and hopefully have some recall of where you were from, what type of being you are, to help you understand a little bit more mentally, because you got it all. You just recalibrated, re-registered everything that you are, and you can feel it in your body too. So Jan Jorgensen here at Sound and Light Healing Arts, doing the Be the Light meditation, free every Wednesday morning. Please press subscribe and join us on our meditations. You could just be there. You don't have to turn your video on and just listening in. It's fun to have people live here too. Blessings, especially the young men in Algeria who have been listening recently. And in India, I want to say hello to you. I love the English, the Indian language in India. And also Philippines, young Filipino males. Thank you for joining me. I so appreciate it.